If you are looking for a simple, straightforward process to help you close more sales, this is it. The 5-step sales process is a simple, easy to use NLP technique that my clients are using to close on more than $100 million. And it doesn't matter what industry you are in. You can use this process to trigger a buying frenzy and to explode your sales. All you have to do is follow the simple steps and handle the only 4 objections that can stop even the most confident salespeople from closing deals. You'll sell faster and easier than ever before. Step 1. Match and mirror. Match and mirror the person you're selling to. This means their physiology, how they sit, where they keep their hands, etc. Tone of voice, and even their style of speech. If you can do this, then your rapport will be perfect. You'll be able to connect with them on an emotional level without intruding on their awareness too much. There are lots of different ways to establish rapport and to meet commonality. The most obvious way is to breathe the same way as someone else. If they're breathing in, you can breathe in at the same time. If they breathe out, you can do the same thing. You'll find that this helps you feel more connected to them and opens up a line of connection between the two of you. Another way is to use keywords. Lots of people have things in common, even if they don't realize it. If they're into sports, then maybe you can talk about how much you love your team or how much you love playing sports too. This is a great way to start a conversation with someone who might be interested in talking with you more than just hello. When we're out socially, look to meet someone new. We tend to look for people who share common interests with us, places we've been together, teams we root for together, schools we went together. These are useful things that help us find connections with new people. Step 2. Ask questions. You've got a lot of potential customers out there, and you're ready to start selling. But how do you choose who to talk to? You don't have time for sales calls that lead nowhere. If you want to increase your sales, you need to make sure that every minute counts. So how do you make sure that the people you talk to are actually interested in what you have to offer? The answer is ask questions. The questions you ask are directly related to the business of the person you are interviewing. Talk their language. Ask questions in the language of their main interest. In business, talk the language of their business. Here's an example. If I can spend enough time with someone and ask enough questions, I will absolutely find an opportunity for a need that my company can fill for them. If I ask enough questions, I will find enough information that needs to have me do whatever I sell for them. Questions should be aligned or ordered with the kind of business you're in. The other person's business also needs to be taken into account. Pay attention to what language and verbs is in use in the business you're calling upon. Understand the concepts, structure of the business you're calling on, what the nature of the language they are using inside. Step 3. Find a need. When you're looking for a new client, it's easy to get discouraged. You might think that there are no good prospects out there and that you'll never find anyone who wants what you have to offer. But here's the thing. There are always more prospects out there. It might seem like they are hard to find, but all you have to do is ask the right questions and then listen carefully to the answers. Here are some tips on finding new clients. Ask questions about their needs, problems, and desires. You want to help them solve their problems and make money doing it. The better you understand their challenges, the better you'll be able to show them how your product can help them with those challenges. Remember, if people don't see any value in solving their problems, then there's no need for them to buy. Find out if they've tried other solutions before, and if so, why didn't those solutions work? This will help you determine whether or not your product is really going to be valuable for them, or whether or not they just want something shiny that sounds good on paper, but won't actually solve their problems at all. And you'll end up just wasting time. Step 4. Link the need or value to your product or service. Now that you've uncovered a problem and the need or value that your client has for the solution, it's time to link them up. The proposal you make is simple. Tell the client how your product or service will solve their problem. Don't give them all the details, just enough to convince them that this is something they should buy. Step 5. Close. Ask for the order. Some salespeople never ask for the order. They chit-chat and don't ask. This is a waste of time for both parties. Some salespeople have objections and they don't know how to handle them. You can just ignore them. But you also don't want to get into an argument with the person you're trying to sell something to. Handle objections by ignoring the first objection, because it's not a real objection. If it's a real objection, it will come up again. If it's not a real objection, it won't come up again. If they ask, "Can you send me a proposal?" Well, that's the worst thing ever. But this is how you deal with it. Mr. Prospect, we actually get paid for a proposal, and we would be happy to send you a proposal if you are happy to hire us. Meanwhile, let's just make your company profitable. Here's a written agreement if you need to look at something in writing. This says what we will do, and it says what you will do. If this is sufficient for you, let me fill it in now for you. Have them sign it and go ahead, close, and ask for the order. It's that simple. Answering objections. The good news is there are only 4 objections. 1. I don't have enough time. 2. I don't have enough money. 3. It won't work for me. It works for everyone else, but it won't work for me. 4. I don't believe you. If you receive an objection, the first thing you need to do is to listen fully. You can't respond to an objection if you don't know what it is. You can't rebut it if you don't understand it. So when you hear an objection, don't interrupt and don't try to talk over the client. Just stop, pause, and listen. If they're still talking, then ask them to clarify what they mean by their statement. Ask them, "I'm not really sure what you mean. What do you mean by this, and what do you mean by that?" You should also never get defensive or angry with the client who has an objection. Instead, try to see things from their point of view, even if it's hard, and try to understand why they feel that way. If you can do this, then it will be easier for both of you to find a solution together. Handling an objection. The final objection close. Number 1. Listen fully to the client's objection. 2. Act a little bit surprised. Be a little bit surprised that they would even have an objection at this point. Thirdly, you can say, "Oh, I get it. You mean that's the only reason you're not buying?" And then restate the reason. By fully listening to the objection, you'll have a better chance of fully answering it. If you answer the objection fully, your chances are better. 4. If I could show you how, and then just repeat their objection, would you buy? They will say yes or no, or they'll give you the real objection. 5. The last step is to answer the objection as above and go right back to establishing value. You want to go back right to number 3 to establish value. And you'll say, what you said before was this, that this was quite important for you, and then list out their other needs. The 5-step sales process review. 1. Establish rapport. 2. Ask questions. 3. Find a need. Establish a need. Establish value. Propose a solution to the client's problem. 4. Link the need or value to your product or service. 5. Close and ask for the order. Do you want it or not? Handling objections. When you're closing a sale, you have to have a plan for handling objections. If you don't, your customer may lose interest in your product or service. Remember, there are 3 main steps to handling objections. 1. Find out what the objection is and why it's being raised. 2. Address the objection by going back to step 3, finding a need, or by addressing the objection directly. 3. Re-establish value by showing how your product or service can fill that need. The 5-step sales process is a simple, easy-to-use NLP technique that my clients are using to close on more than $100 million of sales. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, you can use this process to trigger a buying frenzy and to explode your sales. All you have to do is follow the simple steps and handle the only 4 objections that can stop even the most confident salespeople from closing deals. You'll sell faster and you'll sell easier than ever before.